Hello there. It's really easy to think of David Seymour as a complete moron who has trouble walking and chewing gum at the same time. I mean, like as a mental exercise, give it a go. It's actually kind of cathartic. Huh. But it belies the fact that David is actually surprisingly smart and surprisingly good at what he does. You see, unlike his voters, David Seymour is not an idiot, but he is really good at playing simple. And as Sir Terry Pratchett once said, a lot of people make the mistake of believing that simple is the same as stupid. But we forget about David Seymour the fact that he worked in policy for a number of years in Canada before he came over and became an MP. And he has been the longest serving leader of a party in the House for a very long time. He's been in that job as leader of ACT for almost 10 years. Chris Luxon and Chippy have not been leader of their parties anywhere near that long. In fact, only James Shaw comes close, and he's been leader for nearly 9 years. So, how does he do it? Well, there's a couple of different ways, and as I said, Seymour has had more experience at this than anybody else. And we see an image of him twerking or getting dressed up on Jono and Ben and asking why people don't trust the man in disguise to be an MP. Or you hear him say really stupid comments, but at the same time, you never hear anything about his other MPs. They're kept under very tight lock and key. He keeps the attention on himself and he makes himself look stupid at the same time, while also putting out the information he feels is necessary for people to listen to him. And when that comes into doubt, he's got a really good way of keeping the eyes on other things. In the last couple of weeks, we've seen 4 times now candidates have to step down after being selected as ACT candidates because they've got cooker views. They're anti-vaccine, anti-mandate, nasty, horrible people who wanted to put everybody at risk, and somehow they've ended up inside the ACT party. And every time that happens, that question comes up, David Seymour turns around and says some historical figure would have voted for him, and that's what the focus goes on. And that's a really clear distraction technique. While we should be sitting there and grilling the ACT Party about the ways that they get their candidates, about how they select these individuals, and how they would put somebody whose viewpoints are so dangerous onto a platform, he's sitting there looking like an idiot and everybody's laughing at him because he can turn around and make these claims because he's David Seymour. We need to remember that simple is not the same as stupid when it comes to David Seymour himself. And he knows that, and he knows how to manipulate people with that information. And as we go into an election period, oh boy, that machine is working overtime.